Welcome to ModernHackers scale modeling channel. You can find on YouTube if you subscribe, additionally on Facebook, Instagram, and the webpage. I tell you folks a story about this wonderful W204 Mercedes AMG Alpha model kit. If you follow the channel, it was previously painted. In this episode now varnished, decal added, and something happened. Continue watching what's happened and how could restore the condition. Before any decals, you have to smooth the surface on the top of the semi-gloss black paint. I added one component, Mr. Hobby Mr. Color varnish. For the body, I use 2-component varnish with hardener, and also thinned a little bit for being able to use with Airbrush. The first layer got thin varnish, just give some adherence to the upper layers. The second layer was also a bit thin coat, and from the third one, fourth one went to wet coats and lighter the thinner, not to have any orange peeling. Roughly I gave 5 layers for the body. My original plan was to make a smooth surface without issues, because later on I plan to make some line on the top with additional paints. So I polished a little bit the surface. And with this combination of paint, varnish and materials, maybe that point was not the right step. I tell you later why. Mask the areas that going to cover with carbon decals, painted with glossy black. Glossy because decals attaching better to the glossy surfaces. The paint went well, but I felt something this time was very strange, because the paint over, even on the top of the glossy and polished 2-component clear coat, was a bit peeling off, and usually not peeling off. So it was a bit weird, but I continued, and I fixed this, and I added the decals first with the Decal-Setter as a first layer, painted with hand brush, and put the decals, and finally when the decal is there, I put decal softener. I use MIG decal materials. You will find in the video description. I found pretty well this kit. It's a 2-component kit, stage 1 decal fix and stage 2 decal softener. And if you're able to recognize how to use this material, that it's really helpful for applying any decals. It's either extending, stretching, or either shortening and put smaller the decals if you're able to handle this properly. In this alpha model kit you can find wonderful decals, carbon decals for a lot of areas of the car. Just calling out the spoilers and these extra elements. Got the base coat, and on the top of that they got just a one component clear coat, while the body got the base coat and it's got the two component varnish and the two component clear coat, just for following what's going on. And I applied on the top of the glossy surface the decals. Went pretty good. I used heavily the Decal-Set and Decal softener for this rear bumper area, and also the small parts. It was very helpful for fitting properly to the surface. For these advanced kits you should not just go ahead with water, you should use Decal-Setter and Decal softener, but before applying you have to try it on another material, otherwise it will mess up your decals. Added also decals for the BBS shirt party extension. The decals coming from that kit. Hobby design. The rear wing spoilers, added the legs because it's better to varnish and paint if I can attach something to it. So I mixed again some two component clear coat with hardener and with proper thinner without expecting any issues. As usual, I sprayed the wheels, sprayed the rear spoiler, no issues I found. It stick to the surface. I started with thin layers, 2 thin layers, and then the third is a mid layer, and fifth one were wet layers. The reason why I had to spray again the car because the carbon decals were added and had to be aligned with the car 2-component clear coat, and after a few layers I started recognizing something weird. If you can see the orange peel and the varnish not stick to the surface, even was previously 2-component clear coated and it was cleaned, just not probably enough, so some contamination happened on the surface, like graze or something, and I decided to remove the paint because sanding not helped properly, it was not smooth. Remove the paint, do it right, and not let to happen again contamination between the clear coat layers. I put the body shell into IPA, isopropyl alcohol, ranging between 90-ish, something 95-99%, but I did not let for the whole day. I just used phases, bus phases, and carefully monitored the resin conditions, and it started acting and started removing first the 2-component clear coat and then together with the orange metallic paint, but not touched really the primer. So the primer, the Mr. Color Surfacer and primer sticked very well and not reacted really for this IPA alcohol. Just the 2-component varnish came off and the paint. I used cotton pads and smooth method not to scratch the surface. Less sanding work later. This process took more than a day because multiple hours of bath, IPA alcohol bath it got. I did not want to put continuously 24-30 hours of IPA bath, so I made some breaks and monitored the condition, which means between the breaks, when a little bit dried up, then it was more difficult to continue, but the method continued and it was continued the peeling off, but after the third or fourth bath, it was more difficult. But I wanted to make sure the body not messed up, so this method was safe. And also I kept an open hole in the bath, not to get off the alcohol, but at the same time, if a really small bubbles coming off, it could go out the chemical reaction from the box, which means that I had to change also the IPA water when I did not feel effective. But this helped, this method, with some air leaking option in the container that not made negative chemical reaction, just positive chemical reaction, and just really remove the paint. Went to the direction where I wanted, really without issues. I read a lot of forums about that, what to use, what methods to use. Not brake fluid, I used IPA alcohol with clearly monitored condition and after sand it down. So this is the story, folks. One step back, how I can go forward. I hope you enjoyed this episode. See you soon. Welcome to Modern Hackers scale modeling channel. You can find on YouTube if you subscribe, additionally on Facebook, Instagram, and the webpage.